So this is the picture of the avocado variety. This is the Pluang variety, who is that is big in size. This is Adriana variety, Mickey, Wina, and local variety. From this picture, we can see the local variety has the smallest size for among this variety. So what about the economic value of avocado? From our research, we also find that there are 3 methods for the households in Nambangan to sell their avocado. The first one is harvest the tree by themselves and sell it to the avocado trader or sell it to the market. The second method is through short-term partnership. So what is short-term partnership? So basically in the short-term partnership, trader will buy the trees, harvest the fruit, and pay for the household. But they are not paying for the total weight of avocados that they are harvested, but just paying for the number of trees they are harvested. So basically they just buy 1 or 2 trees. Now, the third method is through a long-term partnership. So the trader will buy the avocado tree for 5 to 10 years and pay it every harvest season. It is efficient for the household since they don't need to find market for their avocados. So we move to the economic value of avocado. In this calculation, we exclude the treatment cost or the maintenance cost. We just put number of harvests and multiply it by the average price of avocado. So based on our data, in one harvest season, household in Nambangan can harvest up to 34,445 avocados, with the average price is 5,000 Indonesia rupiah per kilogram. So the total economic value of the avocado in Nambangan Hamlet is 516,675,000 Indonesian rupiah in one harvest season. So in average, the income of household in the harvest season is 8,611,250. So what about the climate change aspect? So like the other three, avocado tree has also potential carbon sequestration. It is said that one mature avocado can absorb up to 10 kilograms CO2 per year. So we conclude that mature avocado tree is the tree that more than 5 years. From data collection, there are 1,340 avocado tree that more than 5 years. So the potential carbon sequestration calculation is on the slide, where C is the total of potential carbon sequestration in the unit of kilogram CO2 per year, and is number of the tree that more than 5 years, and S is potential carbon sequestration for one tree in kilogram CO2 per year. So the potential carbon sequestration for avocado village is 13.4 tons CO2 per year. About the development of avocado village. So Gondang Village government said the avocado village is a agro-tourism attraction that offer education and experience to the tourists of avocado. It is as a response for the one village, one product concept. So the educational team is connected with previous tourism attraction in Gondang, namely Live In. The experience will be gotten through the experience in planting, treating, and harvesting the avocado trees. All this time, there are some conflicts in avocado selling since there are no group to manage the harvested avocados. So the first step that need to take is creating the group to manage the selling mechanism, promotion, and empowerment. For further development, it is possible to build avocado laboratory to develop the best variety of avocado. The laboratory can also be used for educational purpose for the tourists and also for the households. To create the sustainable economy, households need to know about the environmental free treatment, such as using organic fertilizer and using the avocado waste to make the compost or liquid fertilizer. So the conclusion of our paper is avocado village is suitable to growing sustainable economy, food security, and also fight climate change. In the context of SDGs, avocado village supporting for goals of SDGs. They are goal number 1, no poverty, goal number 2, zero hunger, goal number 11, sustainable cities and communities, and goal number 13, climate action. For best development, we suggest the Gondang village and other villages to put socio before technology. It means that they need to prepare the socio aspect of the Gondang village, like the society preparedness in adopting the technology and the agriculture technology of planting avocado. We also suggest to make a partnership to the company by their GSR program to help in funding to the avocado and agriculture expert to help in developing best variety that suits with the Nambangan agroclimate. To the local government, we also suggest to support and promote the program, and to the scientists to help them conduct research as a base for designing policy. So for the future research, we suggest to examine the other one village, one product with the perspective of SDGs and triple bottom line. In this last part, we would like to thank Universitas Diponegoro for the research grant under the scheme of PMDSU Undip under the grant number 1411 UN 7P43 PP 2020. I think that's all my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you very much for Ms. Anis for your presentations. And then now we move up for the discussion time. If you have any questions, and you can turn on your mic and raise your hand, or you can write in chat. Is there any questions for other participants? Okay, if not, maybe I have a small questions for you. You talk about the one village, one product, right?
Yeah.
Is that concept could be applied for, the others agriculture products, or just specifically for avocado?
Basically, one village, one product is come from the identity of the village or the location. So basically, it can be applied to the other agricultural product, even SMEs product.
Okay, so but for your concern, this time is just for the avocado, and then you mentioned also in your last slide your future perspective, right? You want to try another. OVOP, is that right?
OVOP, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
What is your expectations? You said that, you said that on your last page. You said that that's your future research. Future perspective, right? With that concept. So I just want to know what is your expectations with that plan?
Okay, so basically in Indonesia, the one village, one product is only focused on the economic aspect. They not focus on the social or their environmental aspects. So I hope that in developing the one village, one product, they also concern and put more concern to the environmental aspect. So maybe they make like, total as their OVOP, and then put the environmental aspect by using the LCA or life cycle assessment and the cleaner production concept like that.
Oh, yeah, okay. You just say that just don't take advantage of the avocado, but also environment friendly, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ms. Anis, for your nice presentations. And then now we move for the second presenter is the ID 122 with Ms. Siti Rohma Ika, entitled as Corporate Social and Environmental Reporting, Financial Performance, and a Firm View, a study in the Indonesian banking industry. Is Ms. Siti Rohma present?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, time is yours.
Okay. Wait a minute. Can you see my slide?
Yes, I can see.
Okay, thank you for the time. My name is Siti Rohma Ika. I would like to present my paper entitled Corporate Social and Environment Reporting, Financial Performance and Firm Value, Study in the Indonesian banking industry. We come from Jana Badra University, while the author is from Universitas 11 Maret. Okay. Basically, our research is about firm value. The firm value is the investor appraisal of a company performance. Sorry. So one way to enhance firm value is through good news from the company. For example, good financial performance or corporate social and responsibility reporting. That is the good news. So the company tend to disclose good news earlier than the bad news. So CSR is a concept or program that integrates social and environmental responsibility into business operation and stakeholder relationship. Disclosure comprises of three aspects, namely economic, environmental, and social aspect. In here, we use bank as a sample because bank is an industry that produces minimum pollution as compared to other industries such as mining and manufacture. Some studies assert CSR disclosure have no impact on bank firm value. Even in Taiwan, CSR disclosure does not have any impact on firm value in all industry sector until it's reached a threshold value. So we want to examine whether CSR reporting and bank's financial performance affects bank firm value. The determinant factors of firm value in here is financial performance of banks, specifically from ROA, loan to deposit ratio, non-performing loan, and CSR reporting itself. This is the model of our study. Basically, this is the quantitative research. We took 33 banking companies listed on Indonesia Stock Exchange, listed from 2016 to 2018 as a purposive sampling. So totally we got 99 as a final sample. Our dependent variable is firm value that was measured by price to book value. Price to book value is the ratio of the stock price to the book value of the company. So the higher the price of the company reflected good firm value, so it gain trust from the investor. Our independent variable is financial performance from return on equity, net interest margin, non-performing loan, current adequacy ratio, loan to deposit ratio, and CSR reporting. So this is our research model. We use multivariate regression to test the association between the independent variables and the firm value. Our data is a secondary data that comes from annual report or sustainability reporting from a company. The measurement of CSR reporting is based on Global Reporting Initiative Index GRI G4. The total is 91 index of disclosure. This is the descriptive study. The highest CSR reporting is achieved by Bank BCA in all 3 years. The lowest CSR is reported by Bank Capital in 2016. And the minimum and the maximum value is 0.22 and 5.45 respectively, with the mean score is 1.65. It means that the stock market appraised better than the book value. It reached until 5 times higher than the book value. The maximum of PBV was achieved by BPD Banten in 2016. Bank that achieved the highest profitability is Bank Harda International in 2018. And this is the other variables about the financial reporting. The average value of NPM, POPO, and net interest margin is 114.81, 84.89, and 5.36 respectively. This is our regression result. Our tabel suggests that GSR has no effect on firm value. GSR reporting does not impact on firm value. It is consistent with those in Taiwan and the Gulf Cooperation Council in Arabian, but it is contradictory to the study conducted in Korea and in China. So it means that investors in Indonesia investing their money in the banking industry do not consider about CSR, but the financial condition of the company. So the better the financial of the company, so the stock price will be higher. This is the conclusion and limitation. Our GSR does not affect firm value in the banking industry in Indonesia. Financial performance such as return on equity, current adequacy ratio, and loan to deposit ratio influence price to book value. Our limitation is the result may not be generalized to other industry because we take banking sector as a sample. We have also coherent limitation that subjectivity and GSR disclosure scoring. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for Ms. Siti for your nice presentations. Now we move to the question and answer sections for the other participants who want to discuss. Maybe you can raise your hand or write down the chat.
This perhaps too economic and too accounting.
Yeah, probably I just had to say screening briefly. It's talking about a little bit to the economic aspect.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe I just want to know the simple point of view from you. You said that sorry, it's in the slide 5, if I'm not mistaken, you talk about the bank firm value, and then one of them is the CSR, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I just want to know that, in your opinion, I mean, based on your research
Mm-hmm.
and your data as well, how important the CSR for the, I mean, how to build the firm value, especially in the banking industry?
Okay. For non-banking industry, usually CSR is important.
Okay.
It affects firm value. For example, in mining industry or in the manufacturing industry, because the investor is, for example, like climate change and global warming care about the operation of the company. But we try to take a sample for the banking sector, because in the banking sector in Indonesia, as you know, that the banking sector in Indonesia is almost all private banking in Indonesia is owned by foreign ownership.
Yeah, true.
We thought that the foreign ownership of the banking will have some kind of higher environmentally investing. They have more friendly, they more care about the environment, about the CSR reporting by the company. But however, the investor in the market doesn't care about the CSR reporting.
Yeah,
They
true,
just
true.
perhaps probably because the investor type in Indonesia Stock Exchange is gainer, money gainer.
Yes,
Then
true.
then the environmental concern is.
Yes. I mean, yes, just most of them is just take advantages of
Yes,
their industry, don't care with
yes.
the environment, right? True. So I mean, yeah, just wondering that you talk about the, how to say, the industry. I mean, especially in the core of the each industry, which is a private industry as well. And then I just wondering, are they open it with all their data that you want?
This industry is interesting because, for example, banking industry, like it has the capital of the company is from society.
Okay.
We expect that the activity, the corporate social responsibility of the banking sector will consider about the society, about the environment, about how to cope with global warming, for example. Okay, we get a conclusion that the highest CSR is Bank Sentral Asia, BCA.
True.
That was the leading industry in a bank that also owned by foreign ownership. But we cannot deny that the pattern of the investor in Indonesia Stock Exchange is not really care about the CSR.
Yes.
So whether the bank conduct a good CSR or not, it will not affect the decision to buy the stock market. That is the finding of the study.
Okay, it's nice research actually. I mean, if we want to get more information about the private industry. Okay,
Yes.
well, because this time is killing us, so thank you very much for Miss Siti, Rohma, Ika for your nice discussions.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Mhm.
Okay, now we move to the third presenter with the ID 127, which is Bambang Abdullah Rahanyamtel, with the title, The Impact of the Audit Committee, Effectiveness, Financial Performance, and the Listing Age on the Carbon Emissions, Disclosure in High-Profile Companies in Indonesia. For, is the Bambang Abdullah present in this room? Hello, Mr. Bambang Abdullah.
Hello.
Yeah, sorry, your voice is too pretty.
Check. Hello.
Okay, can you a little bit louder?
Maybe because my connection is not good.
Ah, yeah. Okay. Okay, I can hear you. Okay, now time is yours.
Okay. Can I start? Everyone, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let me to introduce myself. My name is Bambang Abdullah Hanyamtel, and I am from Janabada University student. I'm sorry, before I start my presentation, I wanna say I'm so sorry because my English language not good, but I wanna to try to be a better. So I'm going to present my research with Siti Rohma Ika and Arif Kunchara Widabdo. Our research title is The Impact of Audit Committee Characteristic, Financial Performance, and Listing Age on Greenhouse Gas Emission Disclosure of Highly Emit Companies in Indonesia. Carbon emissions are the primary driver of climate change in many countries. Corporations are responsible for a significant portion of the greenhouse gas or GHG emission in the atmosphere. A growing number of corporations are releasing their environmental accountability policies, such as disclosing data on carbon emissions, are useful to stakeholders. So, Indonesia's greenhouse gas or GHG emissions in 2018, Indonesia's gas GHG emissions level were at 542 metric tons, an increase of 313.47% from 1990 levels. It leads Climate Scorecard 2020. The country shared 2% of the world's GHG emission in 2020. And then Indonesia was ranked 10 among the 20 countries that emit the most carbon dioxide in 2028. This is list from Union of Concerned Scientists 2020. The land use and energy sector contribute to 18% of GHG in Indonesia. And then Indonesia government initiative to commit to unconditionally reducing GHG emission by 29% against 23 business as usual case. This is result from Paris Agreement in 2015. List companies according to list companies must provide CSR reporting, which includes environmental reporting according to Capital Market and Financial Supervisory Agency. Environmental reporting comprises of GHG emission disclosure of the list companies. Nah, the objective of the study is to examine the determinant factors of the level of carbon emission disclosure of high-profile companies in Indonesia. So the determinant factors two are audit committee characteristic is audit committee meeting, number of audit committee, financial performance, listing age, and then corporate social and environmental disclosure is mandatory, but the extent of the GHG disclosure is voluntary in nature. The method we used was quantitative process with 99 sample high-profile companies list on IDX in 2020, and I'm used progressive sampling. Our dependent variable is the level of carbon emission disclosure based on Carbon Disclosure Project or CDP of CHOI in 2013. And independent variable is audit committee effectiveness, financial performance, company size, profitability, and listing age. Research model that we use is, the method we used was quantitative research. Multivariate regression was used to test the association between independent variable and CED or carbon emission disclosure. And the next, the research model that used is multivariate regression, and then the materials is the company annual report or sustainability reporting for content analysis. And then the level of carbon emission disclosure is based on the index from CHOI in 2013 and expressed in percentage. On this, the result of our search is the level of CED or carbon emission disclosure in the sample company is 72% on average, with the mean value 22% and maximum value is 100%. Relatively high as compared to mining industry 24% in Halima and Yanto 2018, and non-financial companies 34% in Budi Harta and Kacaribu 2020. And then mean value of audit committee meetings or ACM is 80 times a year. Member of audit committee is a 3 comply with OJK regulation. But financial performance of Almanzat score is 2.4 on average. The companies are in gray area because the set score is between 1.2 to 2.9. And this is multivariate regression is audit committee meetings or ACM is positively associated with CED, while company size, listing age, financial performance, profitability, and member of audit committee don't have relationship with CED. The positive influence of audit committee meetings consistent with previous finding in Nordic countries in Chariri et al. In 2018. And conclusion and limitation about our research. The disclosure are closely related to the activities done by the company adapting and mitigating the consequent effect of carbon emission from company operation to the global warming. The results indicate the number of meetings held by the audit committee simulate the company's management decision to produce a higher level of greenhouse gas emission disclosure. The study explores the level of disclosure in a period during the COVID-19 pandemic, and then the next research might examine the difference of greenhouse gas emission disclosure level between pre and post COVID-19. That's all from me. Thank you for your concern and time on my presentation today.
Okay, thank you very much for Mr. Bambang Abdullah for your presentations. And now we move for the discussion time. Is there any questions or a comment from the audience? Well, if not, maybe I will ask a short questions for you, Mr. Bambang. You talk about how to say that greenhouse gases, right? So maybe probably I just want, you have a data as well that you show to us. I just want to know that based on your data, do you think which sector in Indonesia who's contribute the most to increase the GHG? I mean, which sector is the most contribute to increase the level of GHG?
Okay. Wait a minute.
Okay, because Bambang is my student.
Yeah.
I want to clarify.
Okay.
Is that your question is about which sector that contribute the carbon emission most?
Yeah.
Or you want to ask about which of the sector
Yes.
that report good in the greenhouse gas emission disclosure reporting, because in accounting language, we use greenhouse gas emission disclosure or carbon emission disclosure as part of environmental reporting of the company.
Okay.
So this study is about the extent or the level of greenhouse gas emission disclosure of companies in IDX in the highly emitted sector.
Okay.
If your question is about which sector that contribute the carbon dioxide the most, is this is it's not in our data, but we read a lot. The highest your slide in, I think in second slide, Bang, it's about land conversion use. I think it's in the agriculture sector.
Oh, I see.
Surprisingly, because the for oil palm sector and industry, it cuts the trees in Kalimantan a lot, and I think unfortunately very sad that the second is about is in those in mining, but surprisingly those in mining industry report the highest reporting level. Yes, report the highest reporting level. Although they contribute much about the, for example, land destruction or etc. Because the sector in mining is also well regulated, because they have, I think they have take shelter, they have to come back the environment after the mining. So they report a lot. Yes, but according to our data, the land conversion use contribute 80% of greenhouse gas emission in Indonesia. And energy sector, yes, energy.
Yeah, because I thought that, because I just quickly remember this slide, and then I thought that industry is the most, I thought. And then, but since you said that about the, what is it, the open land, right? The open land is the most.
The land use, yeah, because they cut down the trees.
Yeah, true.
They create carbon emission.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much for the speakers. I mean, Ms. Siti, thank you so much, and then Ms. Bambang, thank you so much for the your presentations. And then I think we can move to the next presenter. The next I will call the ID 128 with the presenter is Muhammad Zafarullah Khan, entitled "A Farmer's Perceptions About the Skills of Extension Workers in Enhancing Tomato Productions in District Piswar," with represents to climate change in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Pakistan. Sorry if I got wrong with the spelling. Is that Mr. Muhammad Zafar present in this room? No? Okay. Okay, if no, we can move to the next presenter, which is the ID 129. With the presenter is Rusnandari Ratno Cahyani, entitled the impact of the size fuel subsidies, world oil price and supply of a diesel fuel on the business conditions during the COVID-19 pandemic. Is the presenter also present in this room? No, absence. Okay. 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 Next, we move to the next presenter. Is the ID is a 0867. Presenter is the Eranga M. Wimalasiri, and that entitled is Assessments of the Impact of the Climate Change Adaptations on the Paddy Yield Using Agriculture Production System Simulator, or APSIM model, a case study in dry zone of Sri Lanka. For the presenter is present here right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Time is yours.
Hi. Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Ranga Vimalasiri from Sri Lanka. Our study, I'm going to present our results on something we have done on the climate change adaptation. And the title of our research presentation is the assessment of the impact of climate change adaptation on paddy yield using agriculture production system simulator, or APSIM model, a case study in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is one of the small islands in the Indian Ocean, around 3,000 kilometers far away from the Jakarta in Indonesia. So being a tropical country, we don't have much temperature variation. Instead, rainfall, it determines the climatology in Sri Lanka, as well as the agriculture crops and the patterns. Rainfall, it is the key determinant of agriculture, especially in the dry zone of Sri Lanka. As shown here, in the dry zone of the country generally receive less than 1,550 millimeter annual rainfall. There are some previous studies done on the observed climate in the country, and they have found that there's an increment in the temperature, as well as the different rainfall trends. For example, both increasing and decreasing rainfall trends has been observed in the country, as well as we have found that there's a tendency to increase the extreme climate events. Especially in the previous year's Global Climate Risk Index, Sri Lanka is ranked as number 6. So that's our concern. And because it can have an impact on the economy as well. There are enough scientific evidence to suggest that the country is vulnerable to climate change in terms of rainfall variability and the temperature increment. Generally, there are some studies due to the climate change, there were changes in the cropping pattern in the country, as well as there were some observed and even the expected yield reduction in major crops like rice and maize. Rice is the major crop in Sri Lanka. Therefore, the crop production in the country is a challenge, especially under future climate. So there are several options to cater this issue. One of the best options is climate adaptation. There are several ways that we can test the climate adaptation of crops, and here we used a novel approach, crop modeling, because it's easy to use and it's time consuming and economical. So the objective of these studies is to assess the impact of climate change adaptation on paddy yield using the agriculture production system simulator model. This is our study area. We selected Tanamallila, which is around 200 kilometers away from the capital city, Colombo. and it is in the heart of the dry zone. There are several types of agriculture patterns in this area, but generally paddy is the prominent crop in the which is cultivated as a rain-fed agriculture in the Tanamala, Sri Lanka. We use two types of climate data. One is past climate and the other one is future climate. For the past climate, we have collected daily rainfall, daily minimum and maximum temperature from the Department of Meteorology, Sri Lanka. Unfortunately, we did not have observed solar radiation data. Therefore, we collect the data from the NASA power. And the past climate period was 1980 to 2009. And we performed a data quality keyword. For the future climate, we have selected mid-century, that means 2040 to 2069 period, and we collected the same data, daily rainfall, minimum, maximum temperature, and even the solar radiation. We downscale the bias-corrected daily climate data from 3 general circulation models as BNU ESM from the Beijing Normal University, China, C0 MK360 from the Australia, and GFDL ESM2M from the USA. So these are the 3 general circulation models we used, and we downscaled the data for the RCP, or represent concentration pathway 4.5. So this is not the extreme climate event actually. For the crop model, as I mentioned at the beginning, we used APSIM model, one of the famous crop models. There are several types of crop models, but this is one of the being practiced and used in tropical conditions like Sri Lanka. For crop modeling, it's a kind of a huge work because it needs to be calibrated and validated. So in this presentation, I'm not going to describe about the calibration and validation procedure because we already published these things and we use the published model in this study because this is part of a big work. And all the genetic coefficients, management practices that include dates of planting, method of planting, fertilizer application, everything there from the published data. And we have done a survey and we have found what is the most commonly using sowing date in the area. So we found it's 10th November. Actually, there are 2 growing seasons in Sri Lanka. One is major season and one is minor season. So this is in the onset of the major growing season with the northeast monsoon. So we have used 10th November as the planting day. And as an adaptation options, we have used 2 types of adaptation options. One is cultivar selection and the other one is planting date. BG300 and 358, these are 2 cultivars very common in Sri Lanka and developed by the Rice Research Institute of Sri Lanka. BG300 is a short duration cultivar that can be harvested within 3 months. And 358, it takes more than 3.5 months, so it's a long duration cultivar. And as a planting date, we selected 2 options, late or delayed planting. That means 14 days later than the 10th November and 14 days earlier than the 10th November. So these are the adaptation options we have used in the study. So these are some of the brief results we have found the study. And in this graph, x-axis is temperature, while y is rainfall. And there are 2 types of data here. These 2 symbols for minimum temperature and the maximum temperature for the base climate. And generally, this is the average value. Average rainfall for the 30 years period is around 1,121 millimeter. We have found that in all 3 GCMs, the minimum and maximum temperature has been increased. So this is a general trend there. But 2 GCMs, rainfall increased, while in 1 GCM, the GFDL from the USA, so the rainfall, average rainfall for the mid-century has been decreased. So this is also kind of a good finding because when we talk about the climate models, we talk about the model uncertainty because models, they have different inputs and their processes. So we can accept the results, but we need to do more studies as well. So this is about the past and future climate of the area. However, just I need to show that there's no clear pattern. There's an increasing and a decreasing trend, especially the rainfall. When we look at the paddy yield, we found that the comparatively BG300 yield lower, the average yield for 30 years is around 3,700 kilograms per hectare paddy yield, and for the BG358, it's around 4,500. Average paddy yield decrease in all 3 GCMs in the short duration cultivar with the highest reduction of 6.6 in the C0 GCM. In contrast, BG 358, the long duration cultivar, the yield decreased by 1.5 in just one GCM, while in two other GCMs it increased. But this increment is not very big. It's around 1.8 to 1.1 percentage. So, however, there's an yield increment for the future climate in the long duration cultivar, the cultivar we tested there. As an adaptation options, we have found that delayed planting by 14 days, it has increased the yield of all three GCMs. So this is for the delayed planting, the graph A, and graph B for early planting. As you can see, in all three GCMs, the yield increased in the short duration cultivar when we delay the planting by 14 days. That means something happens with the climate pattern or the onset date of the season. However, when we use the same, for the same adaptation for the long duration cultivar, we have found that all the yields, they are decreasing in the future climate. This is quite interesting. And for the early planting, all two cultivars, and except one GCM, C016, C0MK3 from Australia, other than this GCM, everything is decreasing in the future climate in the early planting. So these adaptation strategies used in the study showed different sensitivities under different future climate scenarios. And according to the results, so we can conclude that both minimum and maximum temperatures and rainfall average are expected to increase during 2014 to 2069 period. According to the APSIM model output, the short duration rice cultivar BG300 is at high risk than the long duration cultivar in the mid-century. And this is a simple crop modeling exercise that has shown the selection of cultivar and the planting dates are possible climate change adaptation strategies in dry zone Sri Lanka. This is a part of study, and we can come to a direct conclusion about the future climate and the adaptation without doing the field trials. So this is kind of an preliminary studies we have done. So this is about our results, and thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for Mr. Erlangga for your presentations. And then now we move for the discussion times. Is there any questions or comments from the audience? Maybe you have some interest to give a questions. If no, maybe just a simple questions, Mr. Erlangga, because you're from Sri Lanka, is how to say, obviously, yeah. Do you have questions?
Yes, I want question
Yep.
to Mr. Erlangga. So rice cultivation, yeah. My question is, the main problem in rice cultivation is rainfall. Can rice in Sri Lanka be used with an agroforestry system?
Sorry? I didn't get it.
The main program in
Yes.
rice cultivation is rainfall.
Yes.
Yeah. Can rice in Sri Lanka be used with agroforestry system?
So far, they are not used in the agroforestry system because it's a monoculture and it's our main staple food and major crop in the country. But yes, can do it because there are some traditional varieties, upland rice varieties that can be used in the agroforestry system. But these are lowland rice, generally used with the irrigated water and as a monoculture.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Desi. Is there any other question or comment? Okay, maybe we have just a quick question from me. In Sri Lanka, I mean, how many percent the paddy field? How many percent? I mean, normally in Indonesia, almost everywhere we can find it. And then how about in Sri Lanka? Because I haven't been there, so maybe you can describe a little bit for us.
Yeah, the same here. Around 1/3 of the country.
Yeah, I mean, just average. How many percent?
Around 34 something, as far as I remember. Yeah, for the total agricultural fields, it's around 34%.
Okay.
1/3 of the agricultural fields. Because we have some other cultivations such as tea, coconut, rubber.
Oh yeah, I see.
But this is the major crop.
Okay. Thank you very much for Mr. Erlangga for your nice presentation and discussions. And then we move for the next one is if I'm not mistaken, I heard from the ID 128, they sent us the video, and then maybe first we will play that video from their presentations. Maybe the operator can help us to show the video.
Today I am presenting my research study regarding farmers' perception about skills of extension workers in enhancing tomato production in district Peshawar with reference to climate change. Introduction. Climate change is the most pressing environmental issue confronting all communities across the world, and it has a direct or indirect impact on human activity. Climate and weather are both important factors in agricultural output. It has been predicted that climate change will be used in several places throughout the world in the next decade. Climate variation refers to changes in climate patterns across time. Climatic variation causes increase in temperature, precipitations, and other weather conditions such as greenhouse gas emissions, variations in the magnitude, frequency, and distribution of rainfall, and other weather extreme conditions such as flood, drought, and intensification of sea level and cyclone, all of which have a negative impact on agricultural economic growth. Since the 1980s, around 400 to 500 natural cataclysms have occurred as a result of climate change. Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. Materials and methods. This study was carried about the farmers' perception about skills of extension workers in enhancing tomato production in district Peshawar. This chapter will discuss the methods and procedures to be applied to achieve the study objectives, necessary sample selection, data collecting methodology, and statistical approach, as majority of the farmers were tomato growers, and also researcher is permanent resident of the study area. Two tomato grower villages were taken purposely from 3 Union Council of Town 2 of district Peshawar. The collected data was analyzed through statistical software for social sciences, SPSS version 1.20. The connection of two variables is subjected to a square test, and the link between variables was examined. The Likert scale was also used to rank skills of extension workers. Results and discussion. Demographic factors characteristics of respondents in the study area age. As age is the crucial factor in agricultural output, it is examined in the study area that majority, 30.8% of the respondents were above the age of 40 years, while minimum 10.6% of the respondents were below 20 years of age. Literacy status in the study area. Majority of the respondents were literate, where majority, 33.2% of the respondents were educated up to middle, while only 0.2% of the respondents were educated up to intermediate. Area under tomato crop in the study area. It is examined in the study area that majority of the respondents, that is 51%, were growing tomatoes up to 1 acre of land, while minimum 9.6% of the respondents were growing tomatoes on area of about 3 acres. Every yield of tomato, it is examined in the study area that most of the respondents in the study area were getting every yield of tomato up to 3,000 to 6,000 kgs per acre, while only 9.1% of the respondents were getting every yield of tomato from above 9,000 kgs per acre. Increase in every yield after technological application from extension department. It is examined that all of the farmers reported that their yield increase after the increased after the technological application from extension department. So it is examined that majority of the respondents, the average yield of majority of the respondents were increased from 400 to 800 kgs per acre after the technological application of extension department, while minimum 7.2% of the respondents responded that their average yield of tomato increased from 1200 kgs per acre.
Around
Farmers' perception regarding extension workers' skills and climate change. According to farmers' point of view, skills regarding climate change and familiarity with climate change was ranked first with the standard deviation 0.98407, while recording and reporting climate change were ranked second with the mean of 2 and promoting cultivation of improved varieties of tomato are ranked third with the mean of 2.6923 and standard deviation 0.99833. At the last, understanding and communicating weather forecast were ranked fourth in the skills of extension worker regarding climate change with the mean of 2.5000 while with the standard deviation of 1.10335. Conclusions and recommendations. Majority respondents cultivating tomato for their income in the study area, where maximum were literate having small piece of land holding, that is from 1 to 2 acres, and majority were owner cultivators. Extension workers visited to farmers' fields on annual basis, and their visits were unsatisfactory, who could not satisfy farmers and failed in transferring modern agricultural techniques to farmers and in solving their problems. Majority of the farmers were not registered with the extension department, and they are still relying on the suggestion of input leaders. It was also concluded that majority of the farmers are selling their tomato yield through middlemen, which significantly affect their income. Majority of the respondents faced issue of the storage during marketing of tomato. It was revealed that farmers were unsatisfied from the skills of extension workers regarding climate change. Recommendations. It is recommended that extension workers should visit tomato producers' fields on a regular basis to give basic knowledge about climate change and new profitable tomato production practices regarding climate change effects on tomato productivity. Second, tomato growers should be facilitated with cold storage facilities. Third, extension workers may educate them in preparing ketchup and other usage for long-time use of tomato and at home. Acknowledgements. Our special thanks and sincere appreciations to the organizers, sponsors, and facilitators of the 7th International Conference on Climate Change for their generous help, constant guidance, encouragement, valuable suggestions, advice, useful comments, and timely correction throughout the whole process. Moreover, the prompt response is highly acknowledged.
Okay, maybe that's the video presentations from the ID 128 with Muhammad Safar Ullah Khan. And then for the last one, maybe ID 075 with Miranti Norma Setia Permas. Is it present here or absence? No, in this room? Okay. Even now, maybe that's all for our sessions. It's a present. Unfortunately, not all the presenter is present in this room, but I'm sure that everyone can. I mean, everyone in this room can get some information and get some point that we can get whenever we close this room later. Okay. I think that's all for this afternoon. From me, just one thing that I remind you that everything that you want to do, especially build up everything, I mean, in other sectors, economy, agriculture, industry, whatever it is, just one thing that you should have to, pay attention is around you. I mean, environment. Make our environment. It's not clear for us, but also uncomfortable for other other peoples especially. Okay, thank you very much. And then for other peoples who want to stay in this room and then continue the next sessions, I mean section 2, we will start at the 15:15. You can stay in this room, or either you can quick for a while and then come back again if you want to listen to another speakers. And from me, that's all. Thank you very much. And then bye-bye. Stay safe, everyone.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, moderator.
Yeah, thank you, Bu Siti. Thank you. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Baik, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Oke, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good afternoon for today for all of you that welcome to the ICC for the room Zoom 10 and maybe we would like to please all of you to open your camera. And for these sessions we have around 6 presenters. Before that, I would like to introduce myself. Okay, my name is Joni Adila Fajri. You can call me Aldi, and I'm also a lecturer from Universitas Islam Indonesia at Department of Environmental Engineering. Okay, for today, I think all of you already know about the system for the duration time for presentation, that we will have 10-minute presentation and 2 minutes for discussion. So we would like to all of you to use the time, and please give or deliver your presentation at 10 minutes, and then we need to discuss for 2 minutes, and then we need change to the new presenter. Okay. For today, for the room 10, we have 6 presenter, and for the first presenter is Mr. Cristianto.
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cristianto, with the ID of 096 with the title of the Jamban Systems for Water Conservation in the Forest in the Face of Climate Change and the Benefit to Local People. And I think we can go further for the presentation. So we please to Mr. Cristianto to present your research. Time is yours.
I am first.
Okay.
Okay, I want to share. Is my PPT is slow?
Ms. Cristianto, your PowerPoint is a little bit scatting now. Could you please to set up to the slideshow mode?
Yes, my slide is sound now.
Yeah, it's on, but yeah, the slide is not full.
Okay,
the screen is not full. Please do the slideshow, and please select the okay, the one is okay.
Okay, thanks to moderator. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, good afternoon to evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Cristianto from Indraprastha TKI University. Before, thanks to MC because he has given me time to presenting. Okay, because time is limited, I will be presenting about but the Jamban system for water conservation in the face of climate change and their benefit to local people, especially sites investigation in Cikalong village, where is Sotong Hilir district or Tasikmalaya Regency, West Java. I think is interested me to research by direct observation or in-depth review. Okay, and next. Cikalong village as rural area where is have potential, natural potential and ecological function. Which one is catchment area, and I think that that location water abundant is every year, but where is the local people activities? For example, land using for dwelling and farming massively and distributed. That the activities directly or indirectly impacted to hydrological change. So that is cause of the water crisis or the drought. This is one problem in the Cikalong village, where is often the water abundant. Because Cikalong village, this is part of the conservation area, and this is have included to the plateau to mountains area. And talking about the Cikalong village natural potential, this is very rich. Maybe the diversity and the water abundance and the other. But now, Cikalong village as well now has confronted to the drought. This is a problem. That's the big problem in Cikalong village. This is a problem in the Cikalong village. So okay, according to the problem statement, the Cikalong geographically at least 200 to 500 MSL. Long sheet is plateau tip and include the conservation area. I think that is rich of natural potential that is not explored. So data collecting processes, if I done that, that is by direct observation and in-depth interpretation. So that the data analysis by ethnography approach. And my assumption and hypothesis is the Jamban system function and is contributed to the welfare of the local people in the rural area. This is my hypothesis. So this is research actually that the local people that this is for example how the local people of utilizing the Jamban system is not only as rainwater harvesting, but the picture on the slide that is we can look that is to rural plan, aqua plan development, and the aquaculture development to function that is developed by local people. That is part of the local economic increase, the other function. But the Jamban system have a primary function primarily that is as water conservation when in irrigation. This is a result in when I survey in the field. The most of the local people that is make the Jamban system in the run their dwelling on their home, because the Jamban system actually or empirically have many functions. The other is water harvesting, but called the rural aqua plan development and the aquaculture development. This is a Jamban system function that developed by the local people. So this conclusion, the Jamban system is the Jamban system is the traditional or technology development that utilizes to water of storage development. Alongside it will be mentioned to water harvesting method, and the Jamban system is part of water conservation based on local ecological knowledge and is based on rural area. Maybe that is my presentation. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you to Mr. Kristianto for your good presentation today. Now we enter for the question, discussion and question. We have 5 minutes left. Maybe all of you, if you have any question, please to directly ask to Mr. Kristianto. Is it please any audience would like to ask? Okay. Okay, sure, Miss Desi.
Yeah, I'm Desi, and may I ask how is the Jamban applied?
How the Jamban applied, right? The question. Okay, please, Mr. Kanto, to answer the question.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Miss Desi.
Thank you. Okay, I try to answer this question. Jamban system, call it is local definition. That is the modern definition. There is spawns and small spawn. Yes, spawn. So this is the one of strategies to local people in coming to the threats related to climate change. And the Jamban system, the other function as to water conservation. This is developed by local people to aqua plan and aquaculture development. So that function is given to local people minimally is able to meet the demand in 5 milliscale. For example, as there is harvesting the harvesting some vegetable or fish, yeah, in the family for consumption. This is the other Jamban system function. Like that, maybe.
Okay.
Okay, is it okay, Miss Desi?
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Santos. So because because it's not my field, because I thought that Jamban system is like Jamban in Indonesian word is like septic tank. So and also your picture also almost one. I saw one picture that is the pond is just behind the septic. I think like the toilet.
Yes.
Really. So it's mean the Jamban system is the people will grow the plant on the water, right? Is it correct? And they can harvest the agriculture plant like maybe tomato or others plant that suitable to grow on the water. So I just have one question for you that in the conclusion you mentioned about the water harvesting method, and is it from Jamban system we can do the water harvesting, or it can collect the water in the Jamban system, the part of the system?
Yes.
Please.
Yes, I think that the Jamban system is have multi-function. Yes, maybe as water conservation. This I think that's meaning maybe is collects or harvesting, because the Cikalong village that is included to the plateau to mountain area, because land use change that's by the local people automatically that is out to the catchment area function, but now is optimal in harvesting water. So the Jamban system, this is one solution or one way that is recommendation from the local government that is to water availability especially in dry season, because the season is sensitively vulnerable to the drought. So the Japan system, there is one step or one solution in coping the drought optimally, because there is not one solution, because Jamban system is deficit by volume, because depend on the local people in using it. Maybe that is maybe.
Okay.
And
Okay, Ms. Desi.
Jamban can be used as an agricultural system to
Yes.
mitigate climate change.
Yes.
Problem in the application of the system Jamban?
So any
How?
problem with it?
Mr. Cristianto? Yeah.
Maybe when I survey an in-depth review with some people, local people, until now is no problem. Maybe that is continue and existing in the middle of the local people in utilizing the Jamban system. But in dry season, the Jamban system is deficit, but it's not much, and maybe the harvesting factor is continue and exist and sustainability, like that maybe. Yes.
So perfect system in agriculture production.
Yes. I think that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for Mr. Santo, and I think the
Yeah.
time is almost finished.
Yes.
Maybe we give applause to Mr. Santo.
Thank you.
Next, we will enter to the second presenter. In here, I don't know, because we have 6 presenters today, but in this room, we only have 4 presenters. Maybe our assistant, maybe could you please to check as who is not attend yet in our room, so I will try to contact them to attend the room to attend the room and do presentation. Okay, next we will next to the presenters. The second presenter is, wait a minute, is Miss Lailik Ekasurani, but the title is about impact of climate change on the agriculture sectors and its adaptation strategies. And also I want to please to all of presenters to stay until the end, because we will take the picture as the proof that we already finished our presentation today. So to Ms. Lailik, time is yours, please.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for opportunity given to me. My name is Lili Ekasurani, as an office author on this paper, and Mrs. Evi Gravitiani and Mr. Mukira Harjo as the second author. And I'm going to present our paper titled Impact of Climate Change on the Agricultural Sector and its Adaptation Strategies. Nation is an agrarian country, whereas the agricultural sector is the livelihood of most of the population in Indonesia. The agriculture sector is very vulnerable to changes in climate because the climate change affect planting patterns, production, and crop patterns. Multiplier effect cause is the risk of decreased agricultural production and even crops failure that causes losses for farmers. The impact can broadly reduce farmers' well-being, food security, and increase poverty. Research on the impact of climate change on agricultural production is a critical issue of the Sustainable Development Goals. The impact of climate change on the agricultural sector states that reduced intensity of rain is the leading cause of the decline in farmers' harvest on dry land in Dharmaputri, India. In Southeast Asia, Vulnerability due to climate change cause a decrease in the productivity of grain and corn crops by about 10%. In Indonesia, costs due to climate change can cause a shortage of groundwater supply, lower soil moisture, decrease fertility, and increase evaporation and rainfall. Climate change even includes floods and droughts that can damage agricultural and cause drought, pest attack, and crops failure. And the purpose of the study is analyze the impact of climate change on the agricultural sector and develop of an adaptation strategy to address the impact of climate change on the agricultural sector. That method is this qualitative research is a literature review on relevant research on the impact of climate change on the agricultural sector. The data used in this study comes from the result of research that has been conducted and published in national and international journals. The methods of analysis of the article content used as a reference use the analysis of journal contents. Result and discussion. Impact of climate change on agricultural production. The three main factors of climate change that impact the agricultural factor is change in rain patterns, extreme climate events, floods and droughts, increased air temperature. Impact of change in rain patterns. Based on the picture, in the period from 1879 to 2006, there has been decrease in rainfall and change in rainfall pattern in Tasikmalaya, West Java. This is due to the occurrence of shift of the beginning of the season and planting period, the impact, the decrease in the potential of one period of rice planting period. Extreme climate change. Based on the picture, the impact of flood and droughts even on the destruction of rice paddy crop from 1989 to 2007 saw a significant upward trend. The rice crop to tune the high-flash flood in Kauret in 1991, which impacted more than 16,000 hectares. Of increasing of air temperature. Increasing air temperature up to 2 degrees Celsius in low-lying areas can reduce production by 40%, while in temperate and highland plains cause a decrease in the production of about 20%. The temperature increase of at least 1 degree Celsius will reduce the yield of rice crop by 10%. The increase in the temperature causes an increase in the transpiration that results in decreased productivity of food crops, accelerate the ripening of fruit or seeds, increasing water consumption, decreases the quality of crop yields, and encourage the development of pet and crop crops. And farmer adaptation to climate change. To deal with climate change, farmer must have strategies in the form of adaptation technology. Adaptation strategies that can be recommended to farmers to do with climate change is first strategy is adjustment of lighting time and pattern. The planting calendar map of Ministry of Agriculture has published a calendar map, 3 scenario of climate event are created, namely wet years, normally year, and dry years. Saline was in the planting calendar map delivered guidance on prediction climate so that the planting patterns can be adjusted to the condition of climate and water resource. The second strategy is use of superior variety of plants. In example, a variety of rice resistant to soaking includes ciherang, inspara, fiber, etc. And rice variety resistant to droughts include impago, and etc. And third strategy is rain harvest technology. Rain harvest technology is the alternative to water using technology with the principle of returning excess water and rainization and utilizing it again in the dry season to plant crops. An example, utilization of rain harvest technology is the manufacturing of content and trash dumps. And for strategies is irrigation strategies. The Ministry of Agriculture's config guidance related to irrigation ecology that is recommendation to overcome water check in crops, including renting wells, capillary irrigation, drip irrigation, and etc. And last strategy is biotic environmental strategy. Plant disrupting organism is an essential part of plant protection to maintain productivity. Pest control is natural one. By manipulating natural enemies to plant pests to be more environmental friendly. And the conclusion is this study is the main factor causing climate change that affect the agricultural sector include rain patterns, extreme climate change, flood and droughts, and increased air temperature. Recommendation of adaptation strategies that can be done are using superior varieties of plant, adjusting planting time and pattern, rain harvest technology, irrigation technology, and biotic environmental strategy. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Moderator still mute.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Ms. Desi. Okay, thank you, Ms. Lilac, for your presentation. And now we enter for discussion. So we want to please to all of you, if you have any question, please directly ask to Ms. Lilac. Okay, Ms. Desi.
I want to ask. Previously, it was explained about adapting to climate change by determining the time of planting and planting system. If the strategy is applied today, how about the La Nina phenomenon in Indonesia?
Okay, thank you. It's a good question. Okay, please, Ms. Lilac, you have any idea to answer the question? Is there any like the storm, right? La Nina, how about the storm that can be affect the planting time and also the pattern when the La Nina is happen? Is it correct, Ms. Desi?
In Indonesia, farmers' understanding of climate change is still low. They don't realize the problem. They have faced decreased yield, increased pests, and decreases causes by climate change. The level adaptation are slightly more farmers with high adaptation capacity compared to farmers with low adaptation capacity. Implying that it is necessary to increase farmer understanding of climate change as assessing information. Nah, adaptation capacity shall be increased to the optimum utilization of resources owned by farmers.
Okay, is it okay, Ms. Desi, for the question, the answer? So I think maybe there is many factors that we need to consider how to we do the adaptation in the culture due to the climate change. And also we know that currently we also facing the very extreme, I mean, like different climate effect to our agriculture and also farmers, that they could not harvest their agriculture product during the maybe like the rainy season, because in Indonesia we have high rain rate. Like, okay, I think that's all. Thank you for Ms. Lilik for your presentation. Is good, and please wait for to the end. We will take the picture for the proof of our activities in Zoom in room 10. Okay, thank you, Ms. Lilik. And then next we will answer to the third presenters. The third presenter is will be Mr. Muhammad Mukhtaili, with the title of the strategy to improve regional resilience against flood disasters in the north coast of Central Java. Is it okay, Mr. Muhammad Ali atau Pak Muhammad Mukhtaili? Are you ready, Pak Muhammad?
Yes, thank you for the time.
Okay, it's yours, Pak Muhammad.
Moderator, okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Muhammad Mukhtaili. I am from Diponegoro University. And in this opportunity, I want to present strategy to improve regional resilience against flood disaster in the north coast of Central Java. And this is the location of North Central Java, north coast of Central Java province. Yeah, consists of 14 region, municipalities and cities. Yeah, from Brebes to Rembang, and in north coast of Central Java province, there are flooded. Yeah. Brebes, Pekalongan, Kendal, Semarang, Demak, Pati is area district city flooded in Central Java province, especially north coast of Central Java province. And this is the potential area of flood hazard in north coast of Central Java province, from Rembang municipalities to Kota Tegal. Yeah. Okay. And the highest area of flood hazard is in Brebes municipalities, and the second one is in Pati municipalities. And area of flood hazard in every region in north coast of Central Java province, from Rembang and Kota Tegal. Yeah, the area of flood hazard is mainland transport of Java Island. So if the area of flood hazard in north coast Central Java can disturb the mobility of goods and people, and finally it can disturb the social and economic activity. And this is the potential for residents to be exposed to flooding. The total population, yeah, the total population in every region, and part of total population exposure is a vulnerable group. Yeah. in my calculating, yeah, third of the population exposed to flood are vulnerable group. Yeah, we can see on this graph. Yeah, this is the gray color gray. Color gray is a vulnerable group that exposed to flooding, and the blue one is the total population exposed to flooding. So it is almost, yeah, third. Yeah, we compare, yeah, the color gray and blue. Yeah, it is about the third of population is a vulnerable group. And the next one, the potential flood losses on the north coast of Central Java. In every region, yeah, from Rembang to Kota Tegal, yeah, the highest potential flood losses is in Semarang City. The amount of flood losses, potential flood of losses is 44 billion. Yeah, it almost 0.1 from GDRP of Semarang City. Yeah, and the GDRP Semarang City is almost 1,000 trillion. So, and the percentage and the presentation of percentage of flood losses is almost 0.1%. And the second one in the map, yeah, in the map 2019 6 billion. So my research question is, how is the resilience of northern coastal area of Central Java to floods in terms of the perspective of social ecological system, or SES, and what are the strategy and policies in order increase the resilience of the region to flood disaster? Regional resilience is the ability to anticipate, prepare, respond to change and recovery caused by disaster shock. And what is social ecological system? Yeah, social ecological system is perspective that in social ecological system, the environment is seen as an open system that consisting or interaction between social processes and ecological processes or natural processes. And as open system, the process and interaction between social and ecological are affected by various factors. Some, for example, social ecological system, and also biochemical system. And this is the model of regional resilience to natural disaster that created by Marin. Yeah, this is the model of regional resilience to natural disaster. So natural from natural system and socio-economic system, there are interaction between natural system and socio-economic system. Natural system related with hazard, yeah, natural system related with hazard, and socio-economic system related with exposure, vulnerability, and resilience. And all of them, hazard, exposure, vulnerability, and resilience, will determine the level of risk. So this is the Marin model. Yeah.
Remaining.
Okay.
from mining, Pak Muhammad.
Sorry, model marine, okay. And this is model marine, model marine. The formula is the risk equation H hazard exposure vulnerability 1 and 1 minus resilient. So if exposure and vulnerability and hazard high, so the risk is high too. So to increase resilience, we must decrease hazard, exposure, and vulnerability. From the marine model, we can mapping the problem of the north coast of Central Java. We know that the risk, exposure, and vulnerability in the north coast area in Central Java is high. So to reduce decreasing risk and to increase resilience, we must increasing exposure. We must decrease exposure and vulnerability. So how to decrease exposure, how to decrease vulnerability, and how to decrease hazard. This is the strategy or solution. From ABC. In environmental, we know ABC. A is abiotic, B biotic, and C culture. So the component abiotic, to increase the resilience is control of land conversion, through licensing, incentive, and disincentive. And the second one, to increase resilience with component B, biotic, by conservation of mangrove forest, because if mangrove forest is good, it will decrease exposure. And the last one, the component C, culture, to increase resilience, we make comprehensive poverty affiliation, because the vulnerable group in North Coast Central Java, dominant by people poor. So to increase, we make a policy comprehensive poverty affiliation from physical, social, economic, and the others. So with ABC solution, the resilience will increase and the risk will decrease. Okay, thank you very much. I think it's all my presentation. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, thank you, Pak Muhammad Muhtali. I think just in time that you already finished all your presentation, but unfortunately, because your time is finished, so maybe we cannot enter the discussion session. So I'm sorry for the time. So maybe if the presenters or the audience would like to have a question, so please directly contact Pak Muhammad Muhtali to get the answer of your question. Okay, thank you, Pak Muhammad Muhtali, for your good presentation. It's very interesting, but unfortunately we have already finished the time, so we cannot do the discussion. Thank you, Pak Muhammad.
Yeah, you are welcome. Sure.
Okay, thank you, Pak Muhammad. It's very interesting. Okay, next, so we will enter the four presenters. The four presenters is Ms. Lestari Rahayu Indardi. Is it okay? Is it correct? Is it Ms. Lestari?
Yes.
Could you open your camera?
Yes, I'm there. Yes.
Okay, Ms. Lestari will have a presentation about adaptation of red rice farmers to long drought in Ponjong District, Gunung Kidul Regency, Yogyakarta, Indonesia. So Miss Lestari, could you open your camera? Is it okay for you? Is there any problem on your connection? Okay, so the time is yours, Miss Lestari. Ibu Lestari, I'm sorry.
For the time given to me for the presentation.
Bu Lestari, I think your PPT is not ready yet. Maybe it's better for you to close your camera, I think, because yeah, maybe problem connection. So maybe please close your camera first, and then it will be goes smoothly to open to, because it's the PPT is not ready yet. So anybody could see the PPT of Miss Lestari? Hello, anybody can see the PPT of Bu Lestari? Mas Yoga? Can you see PPT of Bu Lestari? Hello? Okay. Could you mind to slide show, Bu Lestari? So please
Click enable
slideshow.
editing. This PPT.
Okay, thank you, Miss Desi. Okay, yes, now already slideshow, so you can once more, Bu Lestari. Just slideshow and you select the okay. Okay, the time is yours, Bu Lestari. You can start your presentation. Bu Lestari, I'm sorry, because you is mute now. Could you unmute your mic?
Yes. Thank you, moderator, for the time given to me for the presentation. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen at International Conference on Climate Change. I would like to present or prepare and title adaptation of red rice farmers to long drought in Monjong District, Gunung Kidul, Regensi, Yogyakarta, Indonesia. By Lestari Rahayu, Ari Isdiana, Indati, and Zuhudro Zaki. We from Department of Agribusiness, Universitas Muhammadiyah, Yogyakarta. Introduction. Paddy is one of the staple. Next. Paddy is one of the staple crops for most of Indonesia population. Paddy with local varieties has an important role as biodiversity that can be used as staple food. Gunung Kidul Regency, whose land is dry land, has variation in agriculture comes from diversity, namely the association of red rice comes plums. Gunung Kidul Regency, whose land is dry land, has variation in the diversity of agriculture comes plum, namely the red rice comes plum or Mendel Handayani and Sekring Handayani. Gunung Kidul Regency is divided into 3 zones, the south, central, and north. North is deeper land of hilly and central zone is hilly too, and south zone is flat, and north zone have grumosotype soil, latosotype soil, and central zone and south zone is grumosotype soil. Red rice is a food that has a red rice has a much higher nutrition content than white rice. Red rice contain anthocyanin, which are phenolic compounds and that are useful as antioxidant. The selling price or red eggs and the market is higher than white rice. And the dry land condition in Gunung Kidul are suitable for growing red rice. The local variety developed is the Sekring Handayani variety. The impact next. 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 The impact of extreme climate change in the farm that will cause crop failure. The dry season generally occurs for 5 months, namely in April until September. However, in the research area, the dry season occurs for 7 months, April until November, December. According to the data and for the in 28, 29, and until 2020 in the recent area expect fluctuating and every 4 years decrease to and the dry season become long. 29, it's 2012, it's 2014 and 2018. 2018 experienced a long drought. Productivity of the rice from 2015 and 2020 experienced fluctuation, and 2015 productivity amount to 4.41 tons. And however, in 2018 experienced a drought with a total rainfall in year of 100 to 160. The productivity of decreased by 5.65. Rice productivity reached 6 tons per hectare. Even when its productivity reached the optimal point, the yield reached 8 tons per hectare. And the purpose research first describe the adaptation of rice farmers to the existence of prolonged drought in Gunung Kidul. Second, analysis the relationship of farmer profile with the adaptation of red rice farmer to existence of prolonged drought in Gunung Kidul. Method. The research was conducted in conjunct discrete. Next methods. The research was conducted in conjunct discrete because conjunct discrete has the highest productivity of red rice and Gunung Kidul Regency location. Location selection is also based on the region potential vulnerability to climate change. Conjunct district is also divided into 3 zones such as Gunung Kidul Regency. And the number of respondents was 200 farmers who were picked by sample random sampling. Measurement to find a farmer adapt to change in crop cultivation are divided into 4 benchmarks, namely not doing, NT, and meaning the farmers don't adapt during the long dry season. Really doing and meaning farmer only do 1 or 2 times, and then not to adapt to mean farmers to do it at a specific time and always does, mean with farmer implementation adaptation strategies that are carried. Next. The analysis is a score analysis is 5 criteria. Score 1 until 1.60 unresponsive, and score 3.41 until 4 very responsive. Next. Adaptation variable, I put adaptation variable 12 adaptation variable. Adaptation variable from previous research and from villages, farmer group leaders, and field agricultural extension works and head of agriculture extension centers. Adaptation is implementation of intercropping system, change planting time, instead of process the soil or conservation, soil restriction of arable land area, moving from rice production to palawija, plant rice on the beginning of rain, not plant a better interpretation of seed, moving from a location of a risk to impact or prolonged drought, and decide or change harvest time and increase in arable area and use of drought resistant variants. To determine a relation between farmer profit and the level of adaptation get what I drought season shipment correlation rank analysis. Next. Result. Is and not to score 1 and rarely do score 2 and 2 score 3 and always do score 4. Next.
2.5 minutes remain, Bu Lestari.
Next.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
Saya sama ininya nggak pas ya. Yes. The use of dry resistant variants to reduce the net for weather for the cultivation process, on which is the Sekring Handayani variety. And moving in the yard makes essential to farmer the process irrigation. The irrigation often from PTM water. It has a negative correlation coefficient, which means that the older the farmer, the less the ability and memory of the farmer to do something related to the old. Its conclusion. The conclusion, red rice farmers in the long drought adapt the plant cultivation process to the moderate category, meaning that some farmers in the 3 zones apply adaptation and some do not. Adaptation of red rice farmers is often done using dry-resistant rice varieties, changing planting time, soil conservation using superior seed, moving planting allocation near water sources in the cropping system. 3. Farmers' profile that influence adaptation to prolonged growth have a significant relationship as the reason is age, farming experience, land area, number of family members, as household income, and tenancy status. And gender and education don't affect adaptation. So question, there's need to be education or providing insight in the form of social interaction between extension workers and farmer groups regarding types of dry-resistant rice varieties, selected of superior seeds and soil conservation that can be used as adaptation during the long drought. Thank you your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you, Bu Lestari, for your presentation. I think yes, that you have many data also in the presentation. So maybe we're sorry that maybe the time is limited. So maybe you couldn't show your good data to present in this session. But thank you for the presentation. It's very good, and we're sorry that the time is very limiting. And if the audience has any question, so please contact directly to Ms. Bu Lestari. Okay, thank you, Bu Lestari, for your presentation, and we will continue to the next presenter. And give applause to Bu Lestari. Thank you.
No, I want ask to Mr. Lestari.
I'm sorry, Miss Desi, because the time is very limiting. That the time for Bu Lestari already finished, so we need to continue to the next presenter. I'm sorry for Miss Desi.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bu Lestari, for your presentation.
Yes.
Okay, and then the next to the 5th presenter. The next is Pak Joko Purnomo. Is there any Pak Joko or as any the substitute? Okay, Miss Desi, you will exchange for your Pak Joko Purnomo.
Yeah, it's me.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, and okay, please.
Okay. Yes. Thank you for the opportunity given. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of my team, allow me, Desi Setianingrum, to present our review entitled "The Role of Soybean Agroforestry to Mitigating Climate Change in Indonesia," and other author Joko Purnomo and Maria Teresia Sri Budi Astuti. The climate change phenomenon continues to threaten life based on the fact showing that an increase in atmosphere temperature. A threat of human is the impact of climate change on plant growth. Human nutrition depends on plant both in quantity and quality. For plant, high temperature have an impact on increasing respiration. Increased respiration means photosynthesis decomposes again, thereby reducing crop yields. Whether anomalies as an indicator of climate change can disrupt the rate of growth, especially tree plant. Food crops suitable for the environmental below the optimum are tree plant. In Indonesia, the main food crops are rice, corn, and soybean. Soybean is thus potential as an intercrop in agroforestry system. In addition, the quality of human food is protein content, which is in generally fulfillment for animal and vegetable protein. Protein for animal source is still relatively unalterable for most Indonesian people. So, an alternatively is vegetable protein, especially food made from soybean. And this article aims to examine the role of soybean agroforestry to meet human protein needs and as an effort to mitigate climate change. Indonesia is a tropical country that has various advantages in agricultural activity. Monoculture systems are considered unsuitable and inadequate to address major social challenges such as climate change. Many of these problems are related to agriculture specialization and the consequent simplification of the agro-ecosystem. Based on the conventional farming system or a monoculture system in area of climate change, causing the decrease in biodiversity. So then agroforestry is an agricultural approach based on the diversification of the production component and agro-ecosystem. Agroforestry had an advocate to reduce the adverse environmental impact of monoculture cultivation. This is supported by the role of trees in agroforestry system. Trees play a role in absorbing carbon dioxide in the air and soil to help reduce in the increase the carbon dioxide level in the atmosphere. And then mitigation of climate change through increasing soil carbon sequestration can reserve land degradation and ensure food security. The main obtains in terms of plant cultivation in the agroforestry is low light reserved by plant. Light is one of the most important environmental factor in agricultural production. Photosynthesis in agroforestry cropping system is often limited by light due to mutual shading between intra or interspecies plants. Soybean comes from Manchuria or northeastern mainland China, which has subtropical climates and is a short day plant and seed tree plant. However, soybean have adapted to Indonesian climates. Seed tree plants are plants that are relatively tolerant of low light, but are susceptible to photorespiration. Photorespiration occurs with the right photosynthesis if in mesophyll, if in the mesophyll the concentration of oxygen is higher than carbon dioxide. When sunlight in high intensity, so high photorespiration rate. This occurs because the affinity of the enzyme ribosa with oxygen is higher than with carbon dioxide. In agroforestry system, it is most likely around the stand canopy that the oxygen concentration is high from stand respiration. High air oxygen concentration then enter the mesophyll through the stomata may also cause the photorespiration. Soybean and agroforestry system indicate as a suitable agricultural practice to enhance ecosystem service. However, farmers are often reluctant to apply agroforestry because of the potential for loss of crop yield. Soybean yield decreased by 35% in the agroforestry system due to lack of light. However, the fat and protein content of soybean in the agroforestry system did not decrease. Based on the research of Lista et al., soybean in agroforestry system as a promising solution for climate change adaptation and fulfillment of human protein. So, several strategies can be used to reduce the effect of the tree canopy. dynamic of solar radiation in understory forest spatial differed 40.5% in the amount of solar radiation in Melaker kajabakuti, Peldrodrome dubium, and Eucalyptus grandis. Those identification the forest species that are most appropriate to compose an agroforestry system in order to produce a balance between the amount of solar radiation interception by the tree canopy and the amount transmitted downward. By research Joko Purnomo, soybean agroforestry system with 1.5-year Albazia chinensis with different distance of light intensity range from 50.9 result in the highest soybean production can be achieved at the density. Okay. Sorry. However, in supporting soybean yield, fertilization efforts are needed to support soybean yield in low light condition. In the research based on research Suryanto et al., the application of compost 10 tons per hectare saw the highest yield of Anjas Moro, Daring 1, and Grobogan, respectively 1.42, 1.56, and 1.51 tons per hectare, and increased respectively of 118.4986% and compared with no compost application. This is because soil quality and physiological parameters that significantly affect the production of soybean varieties in the M. Jabakuti agroforestry system. In addition, the application of soybean agroforestry result in high nitrogen fixation, high root and nodule growth. This research by Alam et al. The role of soybean in meeting protein needs. Soybean belong to the family Leguminaceae, often called legum plant, which is rich source of protein, essential amino acid, soil, and the metabolizable energy. 32 until 58% of soybean are protein. So, soybean are the main source of vegetable protein. Protein is a key factor that determines the nutritional value and economic value of soybean. The calculation aims to illustration that the agroforestry system for soybean cultivation is very potential in meeting the national soybean and food protein need. In recent years, the Europa Commission has encouraged soybean cultivation as a substitute for protein needs. Soybean is a leguminous part and a source of vegetable protein. The agroforestry system in soybean cultivation affects soybean yield, but does not affect soybean protein content. Soybean cultivation in agroforestry system can support and fulfill of human protein needs. Soybean are low light tolerant plant. National average soybean production 1.5 tons per hectare in thick-based agroforestry system up to 3 until 4 years old tree. Pine are based up to 3 years old and Sengon based up 5 years old. So the agroforestry system has the potential as land for the cultivation of organic plant and mitigating the impact of climate change. Thank you.
Thank you for Miss Desi for your presentation. It's very good. And but we were very sorry that your time is already finished and we couldn't go to the discussion session. So I think we just go directly to the next presenter. And thank you for Miss Desi for your presentation, and we give applause to Miss Desi.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and now we are going to the last presenter, and the last presenter is Pak Purwoedi Minarno. Is any Pak Purwoedi?
It's me, sir.
Okay, Pak Purwoedi, we have you are the last presentation. I think you didn't attend the early information that the presentation will be conduct for 10 minutes presentation and 2-minute discussion, but you can use all, but we don't have any discussion after 12 minutes.
Okay.
I think that's all for Pak Edi. So you can start your presentation. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you, sir. Let me share screen. Okay, is it possible visible? Okay.
Okay, it's okay, but could you please to start so your presentation?
Wait, sir. Okay, is it visible?
Okay, we can see your side show.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'd like to say thank you for the opportunity to present our research. It's an honor for me. First of all, let me introduce myself to you. My name is Purwoedi Winarno, and I'm from Master Program of Environmental Science, Postgraduate School, 11 Maret University, Indonesia. And here I would like to present our research with the title of Land Conservation, Erosion Control for Sustainable Agriculture, Case Study in Ngargoyoso District, Karanganyar Regency. And this is our team, myself, Prof. Suntoro, and Ms. Komaria. The background of our research are the climate change. The climate change affects the environment, the economy, and the society. Erosion causes the loss of a fertile layer of soil that is good for the plant growth and reduces the ability of the soil to absorb and hold water. Population interaction with land is one of the factors determined by the structure of the work. The ecological conditions at the research site have been degraded and have even reached a critical point and have been degraded due to excessive land use errors. The study aims to determine the level of erosion hazard in Ngargoyoso district and activities that affect the level of erosion hazard in the study area. The materials and method. For the materials, this research was conducted in Ngargoyoso district, Karanganyar Regency, sampling with a land unit approach of 73 land units. Primary data taken were slope length, column depth, land management or land conservation practice, land use observation, organic matter, cation exchange capacity, pH, organic C, total nitrogen, phosphorus pentoxide, potassium oxide, soil texture, soil structure, soil permeability, and plant species. For the method, this research used is a survey method. This method makes direct observations and measurements in the field of the parameters needed in the research. This research is in the form of spatial descriptive with the land unit as a spatial analysis unit. The research variables were rainfall erodibility, soil erodibility, slope length, and slope crop management and land management. The USLE calculation approach was used to analyze data on the level of erosion hazard. The calculation of the amount of erosion that occurs is estimated using the general soil loss equation, or USLE, in equation like this. And for the results and discussion, first, the erosion factors of rain. Based on the table above, the monthly rain erosion index is 63.21 cm. The greater the rainfall, the greater the ability of the rain to cause erosion. The erosivity factor is the only factor that doesn't use the unit of analysis of land units. The data produced by the rainfall control station is area data. The second is soil erodibility. The erodibility value is calculated based on the structure and permeability of the soil in each land unit. The erodibility value of the research area is 0.032 to 0.302. The greater the erodibility value, the worse the soils resistant to erosion. Great erodibility values are produced from soils with low permeability. And then slope factors. Based on the measurement results, the slope length is between 0.7 meters to 120 meters. There are 22 land units with a class of 2 slope, 21 land units with a class 3 slope, and 27 land units with a class 4 slope, and there is 1 land unit that has a very steep slope, or class 5. The fourth is plant management. The C value is 0.05, was obtained from the use of forest land and shrubs, while the C values 0.8, which was the largest, was obtained from the use of plantation land with cassava plants. Land management uses a terrace system, which can be found in all land units because of its easy application and has been passed down for generation using the terrace method in cultivating the land. The seventh, erosion quantity. Erosion quantity of our study. There is 3 areas that have weight erosion quality. There are Kemuning, Argoyoso, and Gelego. Then for the erosion hazard level, there are 3 very heavy. There is Kemuning, Argoyoso, and Gelego 2. This is the map of our research. The left side is for the erosion quantity, and the right side is erosion hazard level. The conclusion of this research showed that the areas included in TBA in Argoyoso district were very light, covering an area of 1,482.18 hectares, lightweight covering 1,690.50 hectares, medium covering an area of 1,351.4900, and weight covering an area of 1,509.17 hectares, and a very heavy covering an area of 500.66 hectares. Agricultural activities significantly affect the level of erosion hazard in the study area as much as 67% of the total activities. Efforts to overcome erosion by enriching soil fertilizing organisms, making terraces, contour farming, making pair embankments, optimizing drainage, making crop rotation, and reforestation can be carried out in Tawangmangu district. Okay, I think it's enough from me. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you Mr. Purwo Edi for your presentation. It's a very good presentation and it's also interesting. Now we have remaining for 4 minutes remaining times. So please, if you have any question, just open your mic and please ask the question to Pak Purwedi.
Okay, I want opinion about land conservation, not as
Oh yes.
Okay,
okay.
monggo Mbak.
Maybe my opinion to conserve land conservation in high ini high apa dataran tuh.
Yeah.
Is agroforestry system suitable to land conservation.
Oh yes, okay.
Okay.
Mr. Purwedi, could you
Jadi
please to answer the
suitable.
question?
Suitable for land conservation in the highland itu agroforestry.
I mean, is it any highland is suitable for agroforestry?
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for the feedback, Miss Desi. Anyone else, maybe?
Okay, you can directly answer the question, Mr. Purwedi. Okay, just answer the question directly. Hello, Mr. Purwedi, could you please answer the question? Hello, 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 Pak Purwedi. Hello.
Mr. Purwedi ini still mute and stop video.
Okay, just wait until the last minute. Mas Yoga, could you please to contact Pak Purwedi? Is it she has any problem with the connection or not? Halo Pak Purwedi. Hello.
Hello, sir. Yes, I'm so sorry.
Okay, just go ahead to answer the question.
Okay, I'm sorry. What is the question, sir?
Okay, the question is about is it the land site, is it suitable for agroforestry? Is it correct, Miss Desi?
Okay, for Miss Desi, thank you so much for your feedback. In my opinion, it's maybe one of the solution for the highland area is agroforestry. That people can use the forest beside they keep the dia tetap jaga kelestarian hutan itu gitu loh Mbak. Jadi I think it's one of solution that for the environmental system.
This means the site is suitable to do the agroforestry, right?
Yes.
Because it's also just also to maintain the land and not going to get erosion.
Yes.
Okay, I think that's all, Mr. Purwedi. I think the time is already finished. So I think we already see the presentation from Mr. Purwedi. So we give applause to Mr. Purwedi.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Okay, and because this is the last, we already finished our presentation for all presenters. So now I would like to invite you to all of you to open your camera. So we'll take the camera. We will take the picture of our session today. So would you please all of you to open your camera? Mas Yoga, I think the okay, wait, I need to change. Okay. Okay, Bu Laili. Any Bu Laili, is it you are over there? Bu Laili? Bu Laili, is it, are you over there? Okay, I think we can take a picture. So please, Mas Yoga, to take the picture, and we'd like to invite all of you to get smile. Smile first. Okay, smile. Okay, I think it's finished. Is it okay, Mr. Yoga? Mas Yoga, okay? Okay, I think that's all for presentation for the room 10. And we are very thank you for all of you to finish your presentation today. And we hope that your research can going further and get the good result and good publication. And we hope we can see you again for the next ICC seminar. I think that's all for today. And thank you very much for your attendance, and see you next time.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. See you.
Mr. Moderator.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
See you next time.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Okay, I need to close the session. Okay, see you again.